So, as I talked about last week, I have started focusing on learning and improving my skills on making journals. So, this video is just all of the journals I have made so far in the past week. These ones are all folded paper journals. I started my journey by reading this book, Making Handmade Books, 100 Plus Bindings, Structures, and Forms, by Alyssa Golden. I'll have this linked in the description. But essentially, the whole first chapter of it is about folded paper books. So books just without any sewing, it's just folding paper. I've started at the very first thing in the book and gone on throughout other forms. I'm still working on the first chapter with the folded paper books, but I am pretty happy with all that I've done so far. So let me move these aside so I can more clearly show you them one at a time. But the first one was the X book, which is basically just like a zine. I already did this one before I decided to document my journey. So this I actually made, I think it was probably, might have been even before I moved, so a few months ago. But all these other ones I've made in the past week. After that was the X book with pockets, and this I messed up. As you can tell, this part is a lot smaller than the rest of it. I think I just got confused with the instructions, but I don't think this is one I'm going to revisit, because if I want to add pockets, usually I don't really want to add pockets to every single page anyway. But I can always just, like, glue paper to the pages of this thing, or I could even, like, open this up completely if I wanted to, and just glue, like, a whole strip of paper, like, going across and do pockets that way. So, this one was a dud, but not the end of the world, because I have alternative ideas that would work for me. And then I think this one is the Shorts book, and it's basically like a small, short, stout accordion. And this one, I see a lot of potential for this, because, I mean, it's pretty easy, like I said, basically a type of accordion. And I can see where I could, like, glue more to the end of this. I can, of course, expand this to the whole thing. That's one of the things I've really been liking with the folded paper books, is that there's just so many different ways to use them. And if I wanted to, I could have them, like, expand, or I could just have them be, like, a normal book. Whatever. I probably will go the route of expanding it when I actually use them, because I like using as many sides of the paper as I can usually. The next one is the Pants book, which I think is this one. I should have labeled these or something. But this is basically a more traditional accordion. I mean, the alternative name in the Making Handmade Books is Simple Accordion, so that's basically what this is. It's basically a longer version of the Shorts book, and a bit thinner too. And for most of these, I've just used printer paper, just because it's cheap, so if I mess up, it doesn't matter too much. But some of them, if the book has specifically said, like, medium weight paper, I've used Bristol paper. If it's specifically said heavyweight paper, then I've used watercolor paper. But the next one is the Pants book with the tunnel, which is this one. So basically, it's that same simple accordion, just with, like, a tunnel kind of happening here. So the idea is that you'd have, like, an image here, and then it would be slightly obscured by this one, and then you'd see the layers through that and through this. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also made another version of this using watercolor paper, where it starts with a closed eye, and then it opens more, and then more, and then there. And then on the other side, if I were to go from the other direction, oops, if I can figure out how to use this, then we've got, like, that, which, I mean, doesn't exactly work how I was planning, but it was still kind of fun to put together and stuff. And, I mean, this is still a blank journal, so I might even just cover up the eye symbols and stuff. So, the next one was a snake book, which is basically another type of accordion, just longer. This one you can kind of see, I messed this one up a little bit too. It's a little taller in the back there. But this one's still usable, and I still really liked making it, and I think that I messed it up because I didn't measure, because there's one of the instructions specifically says to mark 2.5 inches from the left edge, and I was just like, I'll just mark a random spot, go off vibes, just because I don't really like measuring too much. So if something requires measuring in order to produce a lot of precise measuring, that is, to produce something usable, then I probably won't enjoy it very much, but yeah, but this one, even with eyeballing it, like, it's still usable, it's just interesting. Drop my bookmark. The next one, this one I've already started using as an art journal, but this was, this isn't exactly what the Storybook Theater one is like in the book, but it's kind of inspired by that. I just, at the step where it got to, like, cutting it out and, like, inserting the pants books and stuff, I knew I wasn't really gonna enjoy doing that, so I just instead had this unfolded and glued in the pants books into this thing, and you can see, I mean, I know now, going into the future, I really want these to be quite a bit smaller than the area to glue them on, because otherwise when you fold it up, we get this sort of thing happening where the pages get curled and damaged and stuff. But that's why we do this with cheap paper as much as possible. But I'm using this as my art journal for the current season in Get Messy, which I just started, even though I'm still not finished with the season of Do It Scared, but I really wanted to use this journal for something, and I also wanted to kind of catch back up with the Get Messy stuff, so this is my my Season of Flourish and Abundance journal. And then this one is one of my favorites. So it is the twist card, and I like it because it's like, I don't know, I just think it's kind of a cool little mechanism there, where it untwists and you got the 2 pages. You could even, like, separate these and create on them individually and then put them back together. But that's a cool mechanism. I can also see myself using this mechanism as a sort of, like, pull-out in a journal in the future. So that one's pretty cool. And we've got, this was supposed to be the brush book, but when it came to folding the strip over the spine and slipping the papers into that folded strip, I just got really confused as to how that was supposed to work, and I didn't like how it wasn't opening fully, so I've just used a staple on the spine instead. And that works really well, and I like this one just because it's a sort of unique size and shape for me, and I could see doing, like, little landscape stuff, or even, like, really long, like, vertical spreads and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And then other than that, there was one that I skipped. That was the Venetian blind one, and that was just because when I was trying it, I just got too frustrated with tying the knots at the end of the cords and getting them through the holes and stuff. It just wasn't worth it, but it did give me an idea of doing like a vertical accordion, which I didn't do because I didn't really feel like doing it, and I know how to do an accordion at this point. Whoops, sorry for bumping into you there. But I can see myself doing that in the future. Sorry about my cat. Hello, bud. So those were all the books that I made in the past week, plus one that I made a few months ago. And I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to continue following along with me in this journey, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload next. There should be another video about this next Wednesday. Have a wonderful day. Bye.